Magin Shabbos, Parshas V'Zois HaBracha. We're heading from Yom Kippur into Sukkot. The Gemara tells us that these days are actually a mini Yom Tov. It's 3 days where, Shloshim Yom Kodem HaChag, but there's so many Chagim to start learning about. We didn't really get a chance to, put in the whole Sukkot's preparation. Daf Yomi did Sukkah recently. Anyway, we talk about the Akedas Yitzchak in almost every Slicha. In Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we're always talking about Akedas Yitzchak. We blow a shofar on Rosh Hashanah to remind us of Akedas Yitzchak. The first question is, how do we remember Akedas Yitzchak? You pull out a shofar at the last thing, at the last part of Ne'ilah. Our final call is Akedas Yitzchak. One of the reasons we blow a shofar. Blow a shofar. What does the horn have to do with Akedas Yitzchak again? After Avram Avinu shechted his son, according to some Mepharshim, he actually shechted him. It was Tchias HaMesim. He went ahead and he brought a korban to Hashem. He found an aisle and he gave that to Hashem. Okay, that's kind of tiny compared to what just happened right before that horn. So why do we focus on the horn? We should I don't know, wave knives around or build a mizbeach. Why is that the way we remember Akedas Yitzchak? Nachamo by Boruch Levine. When Rachel turns to the Rebbeinu Shalom and she says, I gave over my husband, my future, my Baal Yaakov Avinu, Klal Yisrael, to my sister, just so that she wouldn't be embarrassed. And I wasn't jealous afterwards. Okay. Yeah, why does she throw in that? Oh, so I wasn't jealous afterwards. That's tiny compared to the act of Rachel Levine. Right, Mama Rachel cried, we don't say, and she wasn't jealous. The act was giving over the codes. The answer is relatively simple. Rabbi Avram Chavroni tells us like this. For someone to be inspired by Yom Kippur, to be excited by a Sukkot, to do tshuva or Rosh Hashanah, Seres Tshuva, if you have half an neshama, you'll get swept up in it. The question is, what are you going to do the day after Yom Kippur? What are you going to do the day after Sukkot? What's that going to look like? Are you going to take that inspiration and stand with it? Are you going to carry it along with you? Or are you going to enjoy the splash, enjoy the enlightenment, enjoy the inspiration, and okay, back to where I was, right before. Can't let that happen. The verse about Yaakov, about Akedas Yitzchak, was that after Avram Avinu did this huge nisayon, he brought a korban to Hashem. He kept going higher. In fact, some Mepharshim say that the 10th nisayon was actually Ephron. Ephron's not the craziest nisayon, Okay, it's like I tried overcharging him for a cave. Yes, it's annoying, right? No Jew wants to get ripped off. But compared to the 9th nisayon, Akedas Yitzchak, how is Ephron the grand finale? You know why? Because even after Avram Avinu finished that huge, momentous nisayon, he didn't stop. He held on to that greatness. And you think, he would go into retirement afterwards, but no. He was still up for another nisayon. Rachel Imenu, she gave up everything. And that was really the big thing. But afterwards, the real godless, what she was pointing out to Hashem was that when it was all over, I didn't get jealous. I wasn't jealous after it was over. I held on to the inspiration. Mi ala bahar Hashem. Who's going to go up onto the mountain? Who's going to climb? Who's going to make an aliyah during the Seres Tshuva, during Elul, during Sukkot, during Yom Tovim? Mi yakum imkaim kodsha. That's the real godless. Who's going to stand up there? Who's going to stay there? There were 2 boys in yeshiva who were the batlonim. They have 9 hours to learn in yeshiva, and they pulled in a solid 20 minutes in between coffee breaks and bathroom breaks and talking about coffee breaks. So one year, one of these friends, let's call him Yaakov and David. Yaakov starts steiging. He comes back Sukkot and he's learning. David's watching and he's kind of bugging out because, this is his shmooze buddy. And after a few months, he looks over at Yaakov and he realizes that he's a top guy in yeshiva. Something happened. So he went over to him and he said, you have to tell me. What did you do? What changed? He says, I'll tell you. He says, Rosh Hashanah, I walked in and I felt terrible. Because I actually started thinking, and I realized that I'm almost wasting my years. I'm wasting like the best years of my life. I'm sitting in yeshiva. All I have to do is avodas Hashem. I got nothing else on my plate, and I'm filling up my plate with garbage. So I decided I was going to daven for it. And starting Rosh Hashanah, I davened I should be successful in learning. And he said, this is all that I daven for. He says, you don't understand. Hundreds of times, from the beginning of Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, every single tefillah was just success in learning. I had other things in my mind also, I mentioned them also, but basically I was just badgering Hashem to be successful in learning. So no matter what I learned, Goal Yisrael was talking about learning. Hashivenu Avinu, everything was Torah. The kids are the day after Yom Kippur. I wake up, I'm like, look, I just davened like my heart out for this. I have to at least, sit down to learn. You don't have to try it. And he said, I sat down, first day Ben Azmanim, and I enjoyed it. So like, I'm not, you know me, I'm not the type of guy to sit and learn Ben Azmanim, but I pulled in a solid half hour, and I was learning. Okay. And he said, I spent my Ben Azmanim pulling in these little half hours here and there whenever I had time. I opened up a sefer. And he said, I came back to Yeshiva after Sukkot, and I was just excited that I didn't waste a month of my life. I actually learned over Ben Azmanim, and that excited me, and I started learning. And when I sat down, just things started making sense. And I was enjoying it, and instead of looking at the clock every 10 seconds, I looked at the clock once. And I was at the end of Seder, and I had to leave. He said, my life changed. Daven for something strong. Daven, pick one thing that you really need and just pound at it. It feels to be answered. But make sure that the day after Yom Kippur, the real galus, the thing that got him out, was that he actually did something. He was Yakum Imkaim Kadshai. If the day after Yom Kippur he would have went right back to whatever he was doing before, his regular Batala, all those tefillahs could have been nothing. And we all be zeicha to have all our answers, our tefillahs answered l'toiva. And we see Mashiach Tzedkeinu b'mher v'yameinu, be able to watch the Kohen Gadol doing the avodah l'fnei v'l'fnim. Be zeicha to be able to hear the Shema Mefarash. Yell Baruch Shem Kvod Malchusay together in Azar. Kihu al yamin yisada V'al ne'arais V'choyneneha Kihu al yamin yisada V'al Nishba lemirma Shabbos a good yom